My cheating wife kissed another man on a night out. Now she is mad because it didn't bother me. She has no idea what I'm gonna do next. We've been together since we were 18. Never had a great sex life after the first year. Maybe once or twice a year at most since then, but at the minute, it's going on 3 years, and although it bothers me, I love her and I love our kids, so I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I know plenty of friends in the same situation. Another bit of context is that I've always been mildly overweight, but always fit, as I play a lot of sports until about 10 years ago, when I got really ill and a mixture of meds and comfort eating made me balloon up to nearly 300 pounds. Well, 2 years ago, I decided to do something about it. I'm now around 200, which at 6 feet 2 inches is the lightest I've been as an adult, and I've actually enjoyed using weights and for the first time in my life, have a bit of abs and some muscle. My wife, having always been far hotter, is pretty obviously insecure about the fact that for the first time we've been together, women are starting to look at me and message me on my baking pages on social media. For the record, I've never even looked at another woman in that way. On to the night in question. My wife went out with some friends, a mix of single and in a relationship. She looked stunning and I told her so. I even updated my phone home screen to that picture of her. One of the friends she was out with messaged me about 3 months ago, and the gist was she knows I get no sex. My wife doesn't realize how lucky she is, and basically, do I want to hook up? I obviously instantly take a screenshot and send it to my wife. Around 4 a.m. my wife gets home, and she wakes me up as she wants to get in bed. I'm half awake, but can tell something is wrong and ask what the matter is. She doesn't say anything for a few seconds, and as I go to grab her hand, she pulls away. I ask if she wants me to get her a drink, and she says no. Then she just blurts it out and says, "I met a guy tonight and he kissed me." I didn't kiss back at first, then I did. Then for the next half hour we were dancing and constantly kissing. She kept saying sorry and begging me not to leave her. My honest first reaction was, "So what, it's only kissing and dancing?" I didn't say that. I just hugged her and tried to calm her down. An hour or so later, once I got the right words in my head, I said, "I know you feel really guilty, but please don't. I'm not going to leave you and break up our family over some kissing and dancing, and I don't love you any less than I did yesterday. This isn't something that's going to grow and cause the end resentment." More or less. Right on cue, my phone goes off, and it's that friend of hers with a picture of a video of what my wife was doing. This set my wife off again, but my feelings still haven't changed, and a month later that remains the case. In that month since then, my wife has accused me of not loving her because I didn't care. She's accused me of kissing other people and more, which is why I didn't care, as I was covering up my own in these situations, and she's accused me of being gay multiple times, which doesn't make sense. She keeps asking me why I haven't initiated anything with her, even though in the past she's told me she hates being touched and not to try it on with her, which I have respected. She's basically projecting, and it's annoying me as it's putting a strain on us, which she is 100% causing. How do I get through to her that she needs to stop feeling guilty and just move on, because I have, as it's not a big deal? I was genuinely more annoyed when she broke my baking bowl and tried to blame it on the cat. Edit. Hi all, just wanted to say thank you all so much for taking the time to respond to me. I really do appreciate it, and I'm overwhelmed you all took the time. I'm getting asked a few questions, so I thought I'd address them here. Over the years, we have been to a few different couples, counselors, and sex therapists, the latest being last September for both. My wife always feels like she's being victimized by them, and we stop going. Nearly all have said, though, they think she is asexual, and two, even saying she is displaying a lot of signs of being a closet lesbian, which I have brought up to her before, and she is adamant she's not. On that note, I've had a lot of messages saying she wants to feel wanted, and for me to be more forward with her. This is not true. In all our sessions, she says she doesn't want me trying it on with her. She doesn't even want me to initiate hugs, and just bringing up sex makes her feel under pressure. She let me and her therapists know that if she ever has sex without her initiating, it will be no more than pity sex. That's what people are saying. I don't love her. I buy her flowers every Friday on the way home from work. I bake her favorite cookies and cupcakes every weekend. I send her voice notes of songs, and listening to that remind me of her. I tell her I love her every day. I run her a bath every night. This isn't me showing off. This is how I was brought up to show love. For those saying I must have been brought up in an unloving home, people have said that if I don't get jealous, I don't love her. If she told me she was having an emotional affair, she spent hours on the phone with someone else laughing and joking. She snuggled on a sofa eating chocolates and watching TV with someone, etc. I'd be devastated. A dance and a kiss isn't a big deal to me, and not even close to divorce. Thank you all again for reading. Second edit. Sorry for these. It's 7 a.m. in the morning here now, the day after I posted this. I've been talking to my wife since 6 and said she's got a week to agree to go back to couples counseling, and she's got to stick it out this time and not just accuse them of taking sides and refuse to go back. She said no. She said they all bully her and make her out to be the bad guy. She said I went back on my word that I forgive her and won't resent her. I said this isn't about kissing. It's about her reaction since the kiss, and it feels like she's purposely trying to drive me away and make me leave her. She just got up and stormed out of the room. She then got dressed and said she's going out until I go to work. Now let's get some comments with Opie's replies from the community. First one. She's trying to sabotage the relationship and she's getting mad that you won't let her. The Opie replies, that's the conclusion I'm heartbreakingly coming to. This hurts infinitely more than seeing her kiss someone else. Someone else says, did it ever occur to you that she wants you to be jealous and to fight for her? Blowing it off and being nonchalant about it makes her feel like you don't care about other men hitting on her. All she wants is for you to get jealous about what happened, because if you don't, it's going to escalate from kissing to an affair just to get your attention and reaction. The Opie replies, well, if she's playing them sorts of games, then I will leave her. That's what teenagers do, not adults in their 40s. The next community member says, she told you because her friends had the evidence that a great guy was being screwed behind his back. You have a roommate out of wife. To which the Opie responds, I think that's the only reason she told me to. She knew she'd been filmed. At the end of the video, she looks at the camera and then darts toward it, and the video ends. Someone else from the community wants to say, others have said the same, but you both need to have a grown-up conversation to understand what is really going on here. Is the relationship working? Do you both remain committed? And do you see a future together? If so, couples counseling is the only way to go. You can't fix it here. If not, then divorce. Do it as kindly as possible, but do it quickly. No point dragging something out which is destined to fail. The Opie replies, I'm happy to spend the rest of my life with her. I love her and my kids and the life we have. Would I like more sex? Yes, but we've been to doctors, we've been to sex counselors, and they found no problems. It's just who she is, and I'm happy to live with that if it means I get to be with her and the kids. One more chime in from the community. First, her friend who has the hots for you is in her ear. Second, maybe you need to take a look at your relationship and rekindle the romance. Maybe that's what she needs. I mean, why would her friend know about it? You guys are maybe acting like old married couples, and you are too young for that. The Opie responds, I try and be romantic. I buy her flowers every Friday on my way home from work. I bake her favorite snacks every weekend. I even do stupid little things like giving her the dinner that looks most presentable on the plate. On cold mornings, I'll get out of bed early to warm her car up and defrost it before she drives to work. On the physical side, I always tell her how beautiful she is, how hot she looks, because she effing is. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and I wouldn't change anything about it at all. She couldn't be more perfect to me. I just don't know what more I can do, and this is what her friends said to me. The message she sent me was so long, and it seems like she knows an awful lot, and she also sees it herself. There was one bit I keep thinking back to when she said she was round hours, and I made my wife a homemade card and wrote a poem on it, and when I left the room she said my wife made a gag face to her friend and started laughing. I can remember hearing a noise and then laughed her, and I thought she just choked on her drink. That hurts me infinitely more than a kiss and a dance. If she's not attracted to men, I have asked her this numerous times throughout the marriage and even suggested if she wants to explore that side of herself, then she could to try and find herself and be who she really is. She's always battled it away and said she's not a lesbian. She just has low sex drive. This has always been my thought over the years, and I have brought it up to her privately in couples counseling and in sex therapy. The sex therapist also said she's giving a lot of signs of being a closeted lesbian as well. How did you have kids if you have sex once a year? Both times we tried for kids, she got pregnant pretty much instantly. First one within a month, second one within 2 months. We'd have sex every day, but no foreplay or anything, unfortunately. One more clarification from Opie. If she told me she loved someone else, I'd be devastated. If she told me she was talking to another man on the phone for hours a week and laughing and joking, I'd be devastated. If she said she went to a flower arranging class with someone else, I'd be devastated. I just don't think a kiss is a big deal. Update post 12 days later. Bit of an update to my previous post here. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I made the post, and the short update is that we are getting divorced. I said in my last post I told her I wanted us to go back to couples counseling and sex therapy. She said no to both as we went before, and she felt bullied. She said it's sex therapy that unless she initiates touching, not just sex, any touching like hugs or hand holding, it will be against her will and will be forced pity affection from her. The sex therapist said that's very unreasonable, and that's why she felt bullied there. I try to ask her a few questions too. Are you lesbian, or at least bi? Don't be stupid. Are you asexual? I'm at a teenager with a stupid label. What did he have I don't? Nothing, I just wanted to do it. Why don't you ever want to do that with me? I don't know. What can I do to make you want to do that to me? Don't know. Do you want me to take the initiative and try it on with you more? F no. I'll tell you when I want it. Don't guess. So she refused the therapy and gave me no straight answers. She has also said I've gone back on my word about not letting the kiss split us up because now it is. I said it's not the kiss that should be hate since then that has caused me to want divorce. She said as it's my decision to divorce, and it's all my fault, then I should be the one to tell the kids, and she will have no part of it. That was hard. As soon as they were told, my wife left for her sister's, and in 3 days since I haven't heard anything from her. I've tried speaking to her about the kids as they miss her, but she reads my messages and ignores me. A lot of people asked about the friend and why they still talk after she tried it on with me. How I understand it is my wife tried to get the friend group to cut the friend out, but they all pretty much refused, and so my wife just chose to ignore her in group settings. On the night in question, the friend approached my wife and told her if she didn't tell me, she would send me the video. So my wife didn't tell me because she felt guilty, but because she was forced. I've also spoken to a couple of other friends in the group and asked what's been going on. I'm not privy to. Apparently my wife was sexting her friend's boyfriend a couple of years ago. My wife has also been boasting about how she has me under the thumb, and she gets away with giving me nothing, and I'm too scared to ask. The friend apparently saw me out shopping one day and decided I was now more effable and thought she'd try and exact some revenge on my wife. So she didn't really want me. I was just a pawn in this weird friends group, one of many internal beefs with each other which I found out about in the last few days. Basically, they all seem to hate each other and mess with each other's partners. I'll be honest now, and I feel incredibly guilty about it, but when she left, my body and soul seemed to take a massive sigh of relief. It was like a black cloud that was dripping eggshells on the floor for me to constantly avoid is gone. I feel terrible for feeling this way, but I feel like my 6'2" height now rather than a browbeat and 3 foot who was scared to even say anything for fear of being told I'm wrong or insulted or ridiculed. It's like the blinkers have been taken off. I think he meant blinders. Spent the day-to-day baking with my kids, eating Easter eggs and watching cartoons, and I haven't stopped smiling all day. I haven't winced or broke out in a sweat worrying if I'm about to be told off about being too noisy or watching the wrong thing on TV or there's a wrapper on the floor, etc. Thank you to everyone for your support on my last post. I appreciate you all. TLDR, we are divorcing. Someone says, she sounds like a really horrible human being. Onwards and upwards, my brother. To which the OP replies, she's always been a bit cold, but the last few months she's really stepped it up. Now there's a lot of things that have happened over the years that I'm seeing in a different light now. Someone else says, you sound like a good person who just wanted to save your marriage. Glad you now realize no woman is worth being treated like you've been treated. It's going to be a rough time for a while, but you're going to come out of this stronger. And never date or marry cold, basic women again. The OP replies, it is rough and it did feel like a failure for not being enough for her, but at the same time, I genuinely feel 2 feet taller and 100 pounds lighter since she left. It's a really weird feeling. I now know I'd rather live alone under a bridge than in a household like that again. Someone else has this to say. You didn't fail her. You failed yourself by believing all this toxic, abusive crap she was feeding you, and that's understandable. Abuse creeps up on you until it's under your skin. It sounds like she had you convinced you could do nothing right. You deserve to be treated with respect, kindness, and honesty. These things cost absolutely nothing. They're baseline standards for human interaction, at least if you're dealing with decent people. The OP responds, that's exactly how it was. I was scared to even offer an opinion on something, and I still am now. My kids asked yesterday what film I wanted to watch, and I found myself scared to give an answer, thinking whatever I chose would be rejected and I'd be ridiculed. A community member says, you didn't go back on your word, friend. Her actions after the fact and lack thereof is the reason. To which the response from the OP is, yep, I'm still not bothered about the kiss. Another person says, she doesn't want to take responsibility and is trying to manipulate you into the bad guy. You want to improve the situation and improve yourself from outside help. She wants the status quo to remain and is blaming the medical professionals for making her confront the way she treats you. Covert narcissists. Look it up so you don't fall into that trap again. It may suck now, but your sanity should come back to you. You've been living in her mind games for a long time. The OP's response? She is 100% making me the bad guy. I'm not on social media, but keep hearing about posts saying things like, you give your life to someone only for them to drop you when the halo slips a little bit. Whatever. Next piece of advice. Dude, look up covert narcissistic. She caused all the problems. You try to fix them, but it was never enough or correct for her. To which the OP responds, that's what I've been thinking about the last few days. That everything wrong in her life has been traced back to me, and it is my fault. From being things like, I don't earn enough money for her to live in the house she wants to live in. It's a little things like, she knocks her glass over, and it's my fault as I talked to her while she was watching something. Another community member says, don't ignore this behavior. It never goes well. Clean your name. People listen to gossip more than they'd like to admit. Keep all of these screenshots. It will help during the divorce. If she sends anything too personal or pushes the line too much, make sure you send her an email telling her you do not want your information to be released publicly. Then she can't play dumb. The OP replies, there was one where she implied I cheated. It was a picture about how cheating ruins relationships, and then her status with it was something like, so true, but I'm willing to forgive and forget. My friend commented and said, want to delete this or shall I post the video? I really hate this sort of crap. It makes me cringe. Someone else has a quick response. If the kids are old enough, tell them she cheated. And the OP responds, they are too young for that. I just told them that mommy and daddy have decided it's best we don't live together anymore, and it's something a lot of grown-ups do, but it's not the kids' fault, and they are still loved and cherished by both of us. Post the video proof. I've got that video on all the screenshots of her texting her friends, boyfriends, and also there's some screenshot of a WhatsApp group chat where she's been posting pics for strangers to comment on. But it's blatantly her, as she has a tattoo under her boob which is unique to her. There also are some other videos and pics of nights out which her friend group have sent me. Sonal says, keep the records. UK courts probably won't care as much about the cheating and so much as the abandonment. And the OP says, yeah, agreed, the courts don't care. It's more for my own sake if she tries to twist it on me and say I left her for no reason and she did nothing wrong. I'm keeping a record of her not answering the phone to me or my eldest son, and also how long it's been since she left, and that she left out of her own accord and has chosen to not come back. Don't take her back. I'll never take her back. I know a lot of people call me spineless in my last post, but I am one of them people who once I make a decision I stick to it. And finally the last commenter says, update us when she realizes the grass is greener. And the OP closes us out with, she's been out nearly every night since she went to her sister's. I genuinely hope she does find some nice green grass and be happy.